Welcome back to the Boneyard podcast. This is your host, Jared Shevin, along with my good friend
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 223. 223. Artemis. For many people, it's the last week of work for the calendar year.
Not for me.
Oh, that sucks. I've got 3 full days of work left until January 2nd. So I'm trying to get through it. Just trying to get through it. How have you been, man?
I've been good, man.
How was the beach? Are you still hungover?
No, I'm not. I'm good. I didn't get that inebriated at the beach. I was more so looking out for my brother and his friends. So it was good though. It was good. The house was dope. We had a good time.
What was the drink of choice for the birthday boy?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Like, okay, what kind of whiskey though? Like, what were we drinking?
It was a mix between Four Roses and Jack Daniels.
My man. That's a drinks for a red-blooded American. Good job, Nick. Good job, Nick.
And we also had the mojitos in there. My mom came and she made the mojitos.
I see. Yeah, I could see Nick being into like the vodka and mixed drinks, but maybe he can prove me wrong.
Nah, look, he is cut from my father's cloth. My father is a whiskey bourbon connoisseur, and he's definitely cut from that man's cloth. So
love that. Yeah, I mean, Chef Artie is. I need to get together with Chef Artie and drink some bourbon and smoke a cigar. Maybe I have a feeling that there's going to be a date in the very near future where we're going to get to do that.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it, Artie.
Love that. That is his pastime. So
I feel like sometimes I feel like I may have more in common with your dad than I have in common with you.
I don't know. I got a lot in common with him too, man.
Hey, we've told the story several times on the podcast. I did not. The first time I met Artie's dad, I had no idea that was who I was talking to. I thought somebody was there. I thought Artie had screwed somebody over, and they were sending somebody to beat him up. But it was just his dad, a hulking dude.
Yeah, no, he's not a small guy. Me and my dad definitely do not look the same. I will say that.
Artie's a small body, but his dad is. I don't know. Who's y'all's milkman? I'm kidding.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a small body. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. And you got to be under 200 pounds to be a small body. And I'm not under 200. So
you're 201.
I wouldn't say I'm a small body, but hey, I ain't no giant. I ain't claiming that.
If you're over I'd say 215. You're over 200. No way you're over 200 pounds.
I am 205.
Gosh, what I would give to be 205. I haven't been 205 since I was in about 9th grade. All right, Artie. Episode 223, number 23. Is there any other number 23 that we need to talk about?
Well, look, I was not going to give chalk. I searched to not try to find a chalk 20. I mean, obviously, there's the 2 23s. There's the 1 23, and then there's the other 23 behind them. But I'm going to give another name out real quick. And this is someone that you probably know. And that is one Brian Bellows. All right. Once dubbed by Sports Illustrated as the hottest prospect since Wayne Gretzky. Obviously did not live up to that hype, but he did have an 18-year career, had 485 goals. Dude played in the NHL, by the way, if you don't know. 485 goals, 537 assists, 1,022 points, won the Stanley Cup with the Montreal Canadiens in 93, and was once compared to the great Wayne Gretzky as the hottest prospect out there. So Brian Bellows would be my 23.
There's several guys that get that, could this guy be the next Wayne Gretzky? And then nobody can be Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky is arguably, like, pound for pound, the best athlete to ever play their sport. Wayne Gretzky is that guy. Like
He's
if you put all the GOATs in one like discussion, right? So I mean, who would you put for football? I mean,
it's
is
Brady.
it Tom? It's Brady now,
It's Brady. Yeah,
right?
Brady's to go.
So you got Brady, you've got Wayne Gretzky. For baseball, like you can make an argument for
I don't know if you can have one.
You can there's an argument for like Barry Bonds. There's an argument for
see, that's the thing.
Ted Williams. There's an argument for Hank Aaron. There's an argument. There's a couple guys that there's an argument for. They
same in basketball.
Good for their individual things. Basketball, I mean, it's really a 2-horse race, right? Like LeBron and Jordan. It's a 2-horse race. But in hockey, there's no discussion. If you look at the stats in hockey, nobody compares even remotely close to Wayne Gretzky. It's like one of the crazy stats is like the most assist in a career is if you broke Wayne Gretzky's assist down and broke his career down in 2 halves, his first half career would have the most assist, and his second half career would have the second most assist. It's like something crazy like that. And then he also has the most goals ever scored. Yeah. So, like everybody's talking about Ovi and being close to breaking his goal record. That's cool, but nobody will ever touch Wayne Gretzky's like scoring. Nobody.
Speaking of, how many does Ovi have to get to break the record?
It's like 40. He's got 40 to go. People were thinking that he might get it this year, but he broke his leg a couple weeks ago, so he's been out.
Ovi's old too, right? He's like
Ovi is he's in his, I think he's in his 40s now.
He's got to be in his, I mean, he's been doing this since middle school for us. Like he's been around.
Yeah, I mean, Ovi came into the league, I believe it was 2005. Him and Sidney Crosby came in the league at the same time.
Yeah,
and I mean that's one of the great rivalries in like sports. If you're talking about like, that's the hockey version of Brady Manning, right? Like that's the hockey version. But in the hockey version, it's the two do not like each other at all. Like,
and they should.
And they're very open about like wanting to beat the other guy. All right. My 23, I mean, I got to go Leclerc. Keith Leclerc. I mean, it's chalk. But baseball season's right around the corner. I mean, come on now. We all know what the number 23 means to ECU baseball, to Greenville, to East Carolina. Is this the year that number is retired and put up on the wall in the jungle? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm excited. Baseball's only a couple months away already. We're less than 2 months away from ECU baseball getting started up. How you feel about that?
It is the premier program at East Carolina University. So I'm very, very excited. To say that baseball is not the premier program at East Carolina University, you don't pay attention. That's the program. So I'm very, very excited. Very, very excited. Yeah. Hopefully it's not by itself too much longer, but it is the premier program at ECU.
Yeah. No, I mean, most definitely. And nothing beats, like, I love football Saturdays in Dowdy. I love that. But nothing beats the intimate atmosphere in CLS. Yeah. Nothing beats it. Like, everybody's having a good time. People are drinking. The weather's nice. It's warm. It's hot. You're having a good time. Maybe knocking back some hot dogs, some beers. I love it. Hang out in the jungle. I loved going to every ECU baseball game as a student. I was at every single one, and I absolutely loved it. Wish I could get to more of them. We're gonna have to get down there for more of them. But Artie, I guess talking about baseball, the baseball schedule has been released.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, like, hey, we called the Virginia Tech game in the in the LeClaire Classic. We called that last week before the schedule was announced. Good looks on us. This schedule sets up nicely. I like this schedule. Lots of lots of good going on. Now the one thing is you have 4 home series, I believe, in conference, and then 5 on the road, and you finish up on the road at South Florida. Luckily, you're going to be down there near Clearwater, so you don't have to travel far from South Florida to Clearwater to get to the tournament.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, like you've got some decent teams on here, right? Like, I mean, you start the season with George Mason, very tough road test the first week of the season, I guess the first week of the season, going to Campbell, and then followed up by a really tough 3-game series against the Tar Heels out of Chapel Hill. And that's once again one of those series where we're going to split time. One game's going to be played at Clark LeClaire. One game's going to be played at the DPAC, Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and then one game's going to be played at Boshemer in Chapel Hill. So, going to be a real fun weekend for Pirate fans. That third weekend in February.
No, I absolutely agree. That DPAP game though, because I think I want to get to that one. That's a Saturday game. That's 5 days before my birthday, and I haven't been to an ECU Carolina series. I don't think in my lifetime. Maybe as a student, but I don't remember. So I think I want to get to that one.
Let's plan it. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to get to the one in Durham.
You know, my wife's a Carolina alum. One of her best friends, Catherine, is a huge Carolina fan. I'm sure that if I was like, hey, do y'all want to go to DPAC and catch ECU Carolina, would y'all want to go? I'm sure they would go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good time to go. And the game's scheduled for 2:00, so be a good time. And then the LeClaire Classic, you got Indiana State, Virginia Tech. Old Dominion's not part of that. Do we know who the third team is yet? Josh? No.
As of right now, no. That was actually the delay in getting the schedule out, was trying to find a replacement for Army, who is scheduled to be in the Classic, but as of right now, still no third team.
Gotcha. Who do we want?
Auburn.
We should get an SEC in there. Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like we had Tennessee. Did we have Tennessee there a long time ago?
That would have had been a long time ago because it wasn't.
That was before Tennessee.
It was a long time ago.
I feel like we had Tennessee in there when I was a student. I'd have to go back and look. That would have been like 2016. I feel like we had like Tennessee, maybe Virginia Tech in there at that point. Yeah, like give me a. It won't happen because I mean scheduling is so tough right now, especially since everybody's releasing their schedules.
Yeah.
And I doubt they want to give. They're not going to put 2 teams from the same conference, so it wouldn't happen. I was going to say, give me a Wake Forest. Hell, give me a UNC Greensboro.
Wake Forest, UNCG would be a good one. They're no scrub. Absolutely no scrub.
App State.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana State. I mean, they're good. Indiana State's good.
Indiana State. I know people might look at that and be like, Indiana State.
No, Indiana State's good. Virginia Tech's good. Yeah. And then after that, you go back to Boshemer. Or not Boshemer. You go back to the DPAC and play Gardner Webb. That's kind of an interesting scheduling thing, right? Like you play Gardner Webb at a neutral site. That's to me, that's interesting. You're going to play at DPAC 3 times this year.
Yeah.
Followed up by a series against Coastal Carolina, former national champs. VCU is not bad. William and Mary's on the schedule. And then UNCW, before you go into your conference play
in Fayetteville,
which we all know, like, I guess you don't play 3 in DPAC. You play 2 in DPAC and then 1 in Fayetteville. But you got UNCW, neutral site. That's going to be a fun game. And then you start conference play.
Yeah.
Artie, maybe we get down to that ECU Charlotte series.
That would be a good one to get to as well. Yeah. That'd be a good one to get to.
Notably, NC State comes to Greenville April 8th. If maybe we can build a dome around CLS so Avent can't get out of it. Then UNCW comes back, and then at NC State April 22nd, before kind of starting to round out the season. The stretch to end the season, your non-conference slate is pretty good. And then your last non-conference game, midweek game, being a Tuesday night against Campbell, man, talk about electric. That's your last home game of the season. That's electric.
Yeah.
I would just like to thank the ECU Pirates for scheduling a neutral site game against UNCW on my birthday. I do appreciate it. A little bit closer to home.
March 18th. That's the birthday.
That is the birthday.
What? I'm terrible with horoscopes. What is that?
Pisces.
You know what it is,
Pisces.
baby. You know what it is.
Are you a Pisces too?
Yes. You do this podcast with 2 Pisces. Yes.
I don't know what any of this means.
Look, water signs, baby. We go with the flow. We're the best to hang out with. We're the most lovable. That's just what it is.
Gemini here. I'm a Gemini, so I don't know what that means either. So I think I have a dual personality.
No,
yes.
I got both sides, but no, I like the schedule. I mean, you got some decent opponents. I like our non-conference slate. I'll say that. Lots of good games to have on here to help boost the RPI, and then also a lot of winnable series and even some tough road series. Like I look at VCU going on the road at VCU in Richmond for 2 nights mid season. Yeah. All right, maybe we go down to Charlotte. I think you and I should.
Yeah,
I think you and I go to Charlotte.
Hour 15. It's a nothing drive.
I think anytime he plays at Charlotte, we should be there.
Yeah.
Give it to me. All right. Anything else on baseball? We'll talk baseball as we finish up football season. Right. Once we finish up football season,
we'll definitely get into that. All I'll say is a lot of usual suspects. A lot of the non-conference teams I expect to play. The one thing I will say though, I do hope the conference is better overall this year. I kind of want to get a little bit of a challenge from the conference this year. I kind of want to see that. I want to see some better teams.
Tulane's always pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see the conference overall outside of ECU. Obviously, we are.
South Florida has its moments. Memphis has its moments. Florida Atlantic can be okay. I'm not holding my breath. Charlotte's had its moments. Look, I do too. I want more schools to be better in baseball in our conference.
Yeah.
We're the Memphis of baseball in the American, right? Like it's not really even a contest. Also, thank God we don't have to go to UTSA and play on that god awful field. Look like a high school field. Yeah, it'll be a good. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
baseball. But
Yeah,
we'll break it down more. Maybe we need to get a special guest on here to talk about baseball in the next couple weeks.
Facts.
We could probably work something out. All right, moving along. Soccer. ECU soccer has a new coach. Coach Higgins left to go to that school in Raleigh. Emily Busilla. Am I pronouncing that right? Anybody gonna check me?
I would think it's I can't imagine it's Bukilla.
Bukilla.
I think it's Busilla.
That's a cool ass name if it is. Bukilla.
That is kind of badass. Bukilla.
It's like the Thriller in Manila. No. We'll begin her 8th year with the purple and gold as head coach. That's not. Was she promoted, Josh? Yeah, following 7 seasons. Maybe if I read some more. Following 7 seasons as the assistant coach. The first female coach in program history.
Wow.
She was an assistant women's soccer coach at Stetson University for 4 seasons. And then that's where she worked primarily with the offensive players. And then she transitioned to her role at ECU.
She's really the first female coach in women's soccer history. That's shocking to me.
I feel like it's not a super long history.
Right. That's shocking though.
I believe this is only the 5th total head coach for the women's soccer team.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So big on that. Well, maybe we'll get her on the podcast. Also, going around ECU athletics, men's basketball just wrapped up against Florida International Pitbull School with a final score of 75-64. ECU has 1 remaining non-conference game before heading into the new year in American Athletic Conference play. They play Gardner-Webb on this Saturday at 3:00. Wear your ugly Christmas sweater. Also, get there. I know students aren't on campus, but if you're in Greenville, get to the game. This team needs some energy, right? And I don't know. It's hard to watch at times with how few people are going to the games.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of set in stone. It's kind of ingrained in people's minds. This is just going to be a program that disappoints. I mean, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. What it's going to take to kind of turn a program like this around. If that's ever going to happen, we don't know. But regardless, get out there, support, do your best. Obviously, it's a few days before Christmas. Nobody's going to be on campus, but whoever is there, definitely try to get out and support. For
sure. And Josh, did you have some?
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate that high school basketball is so good in Pitt County. Who wants to watch ECU? you can watch lots of great talent without having to
which is another indictment on the ECU basketball program. What you just said. High school basketball is so great in Pitt County.
A freshman from North Pitt at NC State just scored like 18 points off the bench in a D1 conference game on the road.
That's insane.
We literally can't grab talent from our backyard from 5 minutes away. So that's just an indictment on ECU basketball. But
yeah, we need to bankroll like BYU is into basketball.
Yeah, but then that takes money away from baseball and football, and I don't know if we're willing to do that. So
there's money. There's money to be had. We need somebody to funnel money into that program because it's bad. It's been bad. All right. Women's basketball, they're 6-4 on the season. They came home with a big overtime win against Old Dominion. They had to battle for the win, but a late layup by the conference player of the week, Amaya Joyner, helped lift ECU to victory. This was her 7th career 20-point double-double, and the Pirates improved to 4-2 in overtime games under Kim McNeil. ECU wraps up their non-conference slate this week as they play on Wednesday night in the Salute to Service game against Virginia Commonwealth. and then this Saturday at noon. So you got a Saturday doubleheader in Minji's. Is that this Saturday? Yeah, that's this Saturday. I keep thinking this week's Christmas against UNCW. So spend the day in Minji's on Saturday. You got nothing better to do. There's nothing else is happening Saturday.
Yeah, no, they've got plenty better to do, unfortunately. Like shopping and spending time with family and watching a good movie. It's plenty better to do.
I watched possibly the worst Christmas movie. I watched like 5 minutes of it earlier.
What'd you watch? What was it?
So it's called Santa Paws.
This got to be a Hallmark original.
It's on. I don't know what it is, but it's on Disney Plus. No free ads.
Is it animated?
Yes, but very poorly done. But it's like CGI, right? Like it's real like dogs and real
I know
people,
what you're talking about.
But then they're like the dogs, and then like they have the reindeer that are CGI, and this is like early CGI. Like I think the movie came out in 2009.
Okay, so this isn't a recent movie. This is a very old movie.
But there's apparently it's a trilogy. We got 5 minutes into the first one, and my wife and I looked at each other and we were like, "Yeah, this is kind of like not good." So my daughter was enthralled with it. You know, talking dogs, talking puppies. That's hey, she loves anything that talks, and she loves anything that's a puppy. So and ho ho, anything that has ho ho in it. So, yeah, don't 10 out of 10. Do not recommend that movie. All right, let me ask you, what is the best? What's your go-to Christmas movie?
Oh goodness, man, what is my go-to Christmas movie? I mean,
and I want yours too, Josh.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love that movie.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Nightmare Before Christmas? Oh, come on, brother. That's obviously top 3. Obviously, Home Alone is in there, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's and that might be tied. That's not, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2 are like together.
Like, don't get me wrong, Home Alone 2 is good. That's the one where he's in Trump Tower, right?
Yes.
With the bird lady?
Yeah. Get out of here, you filthy animal. Yeah, it's that one.
Home Alone 1 is definitely better than Home Alone 2.
I don't know.
No, there's no discussion. There's
false.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't. Especially, I love 1 and 2. I can't take one over the other, but I love 1 and 2.
Wait,
that's like saying Lion King 2 is better than Lion King 1. Like, no, false.
Home Alone 1 is better than Home Alone 2.
False.
Yeah.
How is it not?
They had a great idea with Home Alone 1 and refined it with
Home Alone 2. I love them both though. I love 1 and 2. I do. I even like 3 and 4, to be honest with you, because I just like Home Alone.
Right.
But
at that point, somebody's got to call Child Protective Services. They've left their kid home 3 times.
But those are my Nightmare Before Christmas, Home Alone. What would be like a third? God, I don't even know. This Christmas, I like this Christmas. The one with Chris Brown and yeah, that whole ensemble. That would probably be number 3 for me.
I would say I don't have 3. I don't really have 3. I'm gonna say 3, but these aren't all the same type of Christmas movie. All right, so the first one is The Grinch from like 2004, the Jim Carrey live.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Jim Carrey
that is my wife's least favorite Christmas movie of all time.
What?
It is.
She just doesn't like Jim Carrey.
That's classic. That is classic.
All right.
I'm not really a Christmas movie person, so this Christmas is also a great one. That's got to be probably number 2. The soundtrack from that album is
phenomenal.
It is one of the greatest soundtracks, the greatest holiday soundtrack of the 2010s.
Is this a Two Americas thing? I've never heard of this movie.
Yes, this is a two Americas thing.
Yes.
Is this like
Yes,
a? Is
yes,
this
it's
a like
absolutely
I
a
would?
two-American thing. Yes.
Is this like I would only know if I got invited to the cookout?
You did not get the invite to the
You didn't get yes.
to
But
the
if you watch
cousin.
it,
Cool.
you would love the movie though. You would
You
like
would
the
love
movie.
the
sure I
movie. You
I'm
would
sure I
love it.
would.
And then my third one, not really a Christmas movie the way people think it is, but or think of Christmas movies. The Green Mile. The Green Mile.
Mm.
It's a good one to watch
Okay.
around Christmas.
That's just a good movie.
If you really
Yeah,
just
that's just
The Green Mile. I know I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
you watch it, that's an all-time classic. We're not even talking Christmas movies.
yo,
That's
that is
That's
Artie-
like up there with Shawshank Redemption.
Artie, you know that I've said this. I've never seen Shawshank.
So you're not a movie guy. You're just
I'm
not
not a movie guy. I'm not a movie guy.
Okay.
I'm not really a movie guy either though. Like, and that's why I had to pull the Green Mile as
No, I'll give you the right answer. Number one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Number
That's
one,
a good one. Yeah,
easily.
that's a good one.
We every year we go see it in the Carolina Theater in Greensboro. Did that last night. Number two, this is a movie I could watch any time of year, and it hits home. It hits close to home for me. It's Four Christmases with Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen it, not my go-to though.
you got who all you got? You got Tim McGraw.
There's a lot of famous people in there.
You got Tim McGraw in it. You got it's a good movie. And if you grew up in a family where your parents are divorced like I did, and you had to do like the Four Christmases, and then you married somebody whose parents are also divorced like I did, and you did all the traveling, going to house 4 times in one day, you get it. And then lastly, I'll say Home Alone, even though I think you can make the case. I think Home Alone is definitely 3. My 4 would probably be Elf.
Now, Elf is actually the one that kind of annoys me, and I love Will Ferrell.
Yeah, no,
but that movie annoys me.
I can watch it once. I'll watch it one time. We watch it on Christmas Eve. That's it.
That's the one Will Ferrell movie. I'm like, we can skip that.
There's a couple Will Ferrell movies where I'm like that. Like, was it Kicking and Screaming?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like,
yeah.
But Ricky Bobby, give me some Ricky Bobby. And Step Brothers.
That Step Brothers, and then the one he did with Mark Wahlberg. That's a classic. I love that movie.
The other guys.
The other guys.
What's the one he did?
Tropical Express, man.
Is that the basketball one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
and
awesome.
What was the one?
Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon, yes.
Shout out Wesley Hug, friend of the podcast. That if you know Wesley Hug, that's an OG Minchie's maniac right there. Wesley Hug. I need to talk to Wes. And what's that other one that he did? He did one more that Will Ferrell's in everything, but
Anchorman.
Anchorman.
Yeah, I forget about that. He's got classics. He does.
Will Ferrell is definitely. I mean, I don't want to say he's underrated, but he's got some bangers.
Yeah, he's got some classics. Got some duds, but he's got some classics.
All right, where were we? Are we good on basketball? Anything else y'all have for basketball, or can we move on?
We'll move on from basketball.
All right, football. Transfer portal news. Some guys have landed. Some guys that are transferring out have landed in their new spots. One of them has already decommitted and entered back into the transfer portal. That is CJ Mims, who transferred to Wake Forest, and then Dave Clawson today. I guess it was today. announced that he was resigning as EC or Wake Forest football coach. So CJ Mims entered the portal, a day after he committed there. CJ, you can still come home, brother. You can still come home. There's still a spot. Come on back. Sky Barker lands at SMU. That was an interesting one. I thought that was very interesting that's where he ended up going. I thought for sure he might end up somewhere like a Georgia Tech, but ended up at SMU. Artie, your thoughts on Zakai?
I think SMU, Georgia Tech are similar programs. They're in the same conference, same trajectory. SMU's in the playoff. Georgia Tech's not. So I mean, I don't really think that's oh, he didn't get to Georgia Tech, got to SMU. What a bad move. No, I think it's the same kind of move. Honestly, good for him. Happy for him. Happy they landed there. I agree with you. You said something earlier that you don't think SMU is going to repeat that same success. I don't either. I also don't think they're going to fall off a cliff either. I don't think they're 5-7 football team next year either. They're going to be a good football program.
I think they'll be a 9-3 football team.
They'll be 9-3, 10-2. That's what they'll be.
And honestly, is it that hard? If with P4 funding, is it that hard to go 9-3 in the ACC? I
just hope he can find his footing, because that's a program where he's going to have to go in and earn it, right? There's no handouts, nothing that you did at ECU is going to get you a starting job at SMU. So he's going that's a position where he's going to have to go in and earn it. But I hope him all the best.
Yeah, and then Chase Sowell ends up at Iowa State. Good thing that they score a lot, because maybe he won't drop as many passes there.
I still got bad love for Chase. You're mad at his dad. You're not mad at Chase.
No, I don't. Look, all right. Let's go ahead and get into it.
You upset with Senior.
I said this in the group chat earlier, and anything that I say in the group chat, I'm willing to say on the podcast. One of the worst things that's happened, yes, the NIL has been in the transfer portal is the worst thing that's happened to college football. It's the worst thing that's happened to college athletics.
Especially the way it's formatted now, running into the damn playoff.
I mean, you got Marshall, who couldn't play in their bowl game because so many players transferred out, and their coach left. Their coach left to go to an in-conference rival that finished 1-11 last year.
Yeah.
You won the conference championship, and your coach left to go to a team that went 1-11
program. We have to
in the same conference
from scratch.
Come on now. Come on. And then you have so many players enter the portal. You have to opt out of your bowl game. That's terrible. The second worst thing that's happened to college athletics and college football. And it's not new, but it's in this day and age of transfer portal and NIL and social media, what you see, and you see this across the board, honestly, you see this, every school has at least one of these guys on the team, where their dad is extremely vocal, and ECU had two of them this year. I won't talk about the other one, but ECU had two of them this year where their dads were extremely vocal about things. And then, look, Chase's dad was all over ECU, but now that Chase enters the portal, I didn't see anybody say anything bad to Chase. Did either of you see anybody say anything bad to Chase for entering the portal? I didn't see that. Josh, it looks like you had something. No, Josh is shaking his head. I didn't see that. If I saw that, bad on you. Do not talk to an athlete for making a decision. Go get the bag. Do you? We don't care. But then to almost be taunting in the fan base that you left, the fan base that took you in when Dion came in and sent you off.
Basically told you were a scrub.
Dion came in and said, "I'm bringing my Louis," and he brought in a Heisman Trophy winner and told you to kick rocks, right? That's what happened. And you talk you poke the bear of a program that of a fan base of a program that brought you in and supported you and gave you a home for 2 years. I don't know.
But look, Chase himself is a good kid, good athlete.
I got nothing.
Had he come back, he obviously clearly would have still been the guy that we thought could be number one.
I don't think
I think
that's part of the reason he left. He wasn't
Right.
going to be the number one next year.
I think he could have. He had the potential to be.
He could be.
Yes, he would have had to compete big time. But wherever he goes, he's going to have to compete big time. That's the name of the game.
ECU at the receiving position is still loaded. Yes, they're going to bring in another transfer. They're going to bring in another transfer, but your receiving core is set for next year, and you're going to be just fine.
I think the only difference is that there's a platform now for these specifically dads to go and now talk their shit. This isn't new. Dads have been supporting
your son. I get it.
And talking shit.
But
this has been 30, 40, 50 years. This isn't new. They just have a platform now.
He posted a GIF today of like ECU baseball, like in response to an Iowa State thing. And I'm like, dude, like, what is our fan base supported you and your family? What are you talking about? I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way.
No, I get it. Look, you make the decision that you make. That's perfectly fine. You are well within your right to make that decision. But just leave with a little bit of dignity. Don't shit on us when you walk out the door. That's all we ask.
Like we appreciate your 4 touchdowns, Chase. Thank you. We appreciate it. I don't know. That's I don't have a problem with anybody leaving to go better somewhere that they think is better for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. That's your right. Do not like talk shit on your way out. Just don't.
Unless it's warranted.
But I don't think in this case it was.
No.
I don't think in this case it was. But all right. Let's talk about the guys that could be coming to East Carolina, Artie. There's a couple notable transfers that are visiting. This is from an article from Stephen Iga. I've been trying to keep up with who all has offers from ECU. Got Caleb Curtin. Am I pronouncing that right? Wrong. Safety from Elon. Another linebacker from Elon and Brandon Tyson. Jacob Otts from Rhode Island, an offensive lineman. Tyler Fortenberry from Vanderbilt, tight end. And then defensive lineman Justin Benton from Houston with 4 years of eligibility. That could be a big one. Number 2, Group 2, Jonathan Klein, offensive lineman from UCF. Desmond Hearns, a safety from Southern Illinois. And then Jaquays Petaway, wide receiver from Oklahoma.
Yeah, that could be Jaquays. It could be Jaquez.
I'm trying to think like Petaway. Is that why am I blanking on the guy's first name? Petaway.
I don't know where you're
Any
going.
relation? I don't know. I don't either. It's late. We need to start recording these things earlier. All right. Next up, Group 3. Right now, it's just one defensive lineman, Caden Beatty, from Kent State with 3 years of eligibility. And then Group 4 got a bunch of guys coming in. Really, probably most notably, you got some decent edge rushers from the MAC coming in. Chance Harley, also a cornerback from Maryland.
Yep.
Look, those DBs from Maryland are have been pretty good for ECU. At least the one this past year was. So stay tuned. We'll see how it checks out
Circle back.
in the next couple of weeks. We're it's not as exciting as the portal last year when we were, finding a new offensive coordinator and then, okay, who's going to be the mailman?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, Kane Hauser's your guy next year, so now you're just trying to plug some holes. There's a couple guys that I would like to really see get a real good look at East Carolina. There's a couple guys that I know ECU's offered, but they haven't scheduled a visit yet that I think could be game changers at ECU. And there's a couple guys in conference that are in the portal that you could probably bring in. There's a couple of those. I mean, I look at like a guy like Tyquan Smith, that linebacker from, Temple.
Mm-hmm.
That dude looks like the real deal. I think he could come in and replace Sakai Barker.
Are you talking about Tyquan King?
Tyquan King, Tyquan King. That he's the linebacker from Temple, right?
Yeah, the linebacker from ECU that went to Temple. He was on our team last season. He went to Temple and balled out.
But he's back out. He's back in the portal now, right?
Yeah, but ECU didn't give him a shot last time, so.
I completely forgot he started at ECU.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with the portal.
No.
You got like
he started at A&T.
Jesus Christ.
He started at A&T, came to ECU, didn't get a chance, went to Temple, balled out.
Never mind.
He's working his way up.
But ECU's offered him again. ECU's offered him again. But this is what's wrong with the transfer portal. No, you don't remember who's on your team from 2 years ago.
It's really a 1-year deal, man. We're getting to a point in college football. You got these guys on a 1-year rental, maybe a 2-year rental.
Imagine if
like we had their general managers.
Imagine if in the NFL, all right, maybe in 15 years the Bears finally make it back to the playoffs.
Maybe.
And
we'll be right there with the Falcons.
Hey, we should make the playoffs this year.
You guys are not making the damn playoffs this year. Not with the Bake Show. Stop playing.
Hey, it's they just announced Penix is the guy going forward.
Well, that was smart, honestly, because Kirk is, God bless him.
I mean, looking at the state, like we have the tiebreaker over all the teams in our conference or in our division.
I mean, Tampa right now, the way they're playing, they should.
I need them to ball the fuck out because I'm trying to win a fantasy football.
They should run away with that.
Yeah,
no, I need you to calm down though. Semis coming up, baby. Semis coming up. Your boys in the semis. Come on now, let's get it going.
You got John.
No, I got DJ. It's me and DJ, you and Kyle. That's the semis.
God. I got absolutely screwed. Anyways, but imagine going into the playoffs and, imagine, let's take the Commanders. Washington goes into the playoffs. They're probably not going to win the championship this year, but they're in the playoffs. And all of a sudden, Jaden Daniels is like, yeah, I've entered the transfer portal and I'm not going to play in the playoffs. And now the Dallas Cowboys are hitting him up and the New York Giants are hitting him up. And while all this is going on, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm taking my talents to New York. Imagine if free agency happened during the playoffs in the NFL.
Right. But see, this is why the NFL, in terms of their scheduling, is brilliant. They are king. They have thought this out. They have sat in meetings, countless meetings. They have hired smart people to figure this out for them. Something college football seems like they are just so inept to do to just figure this thing out. Just get behind closed doors and just do what common sense should do. Because there's absolutely no way that you should be having guys enter the transfer portal with bowl season and playoff season right here at the same time, to the point where a team cannot even play in their bowl game that they've earned because 20 guys have entered the portal.
The problem is these guys enter the transfer portal at this time and they have to do it this way.
And it's not the players' fault.
It's the scheduling of when classes start, right? You've got to, so you finish the season, you've got to enter the transfer portal that first weekend in December, and then you've got to find a home and you may have to move cross country in a month, pack everything up and move cross country in a month to go to your new home. So, I mean, Zakai Barker enters the transfer portal. He's got to move to Dallas in the next month to be ready to be on campus and be enrolled in class in January.
Yeah.
Now, how do we fix the transfer portal? I think that there's got to be some kind of there's eventually got to be some kind of fix to, okay, you enter the transfer portal because you can't have these guys transferring every single year.
Not at this time of the year either.
Like you should get, I get having one transfer, the next, like, free transfer, kind of like it, I guess, was it like it used to be, but then a second transfer is, okay, now you have to sit out a year. But you're not going to have the schools sign off on that and the conferences sign off on that, especially the P4 conferences.
Mm-hmm.
But even Nick Saban is upset and Alabama's upset because all their players are leaving. I love it. I love that the schools that have always run this shit are upset because it means that there's now parity and some more parity in college football.
The entertainment value of college football steadily rises, and the parity is going to steadily rise. But the infrastructure does have to be fixed so it doesn't actually become a wild, wild west and it just fizzles out, because that's exactly what it's going to be. It's something's got to be done to fix the actual scheduling and planning of it. But you're right, the actual entertainment value, because you've opened up the field, 12 teams get in. So it's not going to be your usual Alabama.
We're eventually going to get to 16.
Right. Like we literally have Arizona State, SMU, Indiana, and Boise State is the 3 seed in the country right now. Like, that's, you want parity, there's your parity. So it's going to continue. The entertainment value is great, but you got to fix the structure up.
Yeah. No, for sure. All right. Anything else? Do y'all have a walk the plank before we get to gambling corner?
Damn, I thought I had one too. What was my walk the plank this week? I swear I had one.
Mine is the transfer portal. Like, mine is the transfer portal and how it impacts bowl season. Look, I know people say, oh, bowl season doesn't matter. Like, bowl games don't matter. They're exhibition games. They don't matter. But you tell a guy like Rajay Harris, who's getting a chance to play in his last game for ECU.
Yeah, that bowl game doesn't matter.
That game doesn't matter. A guy that's given his blood, sweat, and tears to ECU. And maybe some programs, this would be their only chance to play in a bowl game. And then they can't, because you've got teams that have entered or so many people that have entered the transfer portal that you don't have enough players on the roster to field a team. Come on now. It's brutal. I mean, the fact that Louisiana Tech is having to fill in for Marshall, and they're going to go in there and they're going to get their ass kicked by Army because they don't have as much time to prepare. And then imagine those guys, the guys at Louisiana Tech. Okay, our season's over. I'm about to go on Christmas break. I'm going to get
Right.
a
They're
little
thinking
bit of
of
time.
vacation, chilling. Now all of a sudden they got to go play a football game.
Yeah. Like what? I don't know. It's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed.
What the solution is, honestly, I couldn't tell you. And whether that's prolonging enrollment for these guys so that you can kind of push it back after, like you have obviously the national championship now is damn near 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, which I don't think should be. But like you've got a situation now where the national championship game is being played late into January, so it's like
the easiest
pushed up to where you can kind of have transfer portal somewhere in January so that these guys can not miss the semester going forward. I don't know.
And this is gonna sound bad. The easiest way to fix it, in my opinion, is you only have to be in, like, maybe this you can't do this, but if you've got guys that are gonna play for you, they're on scholarship, but they don't have to be enrolled that spring semester, but they can still attend practice. That's probably the easiest fix, but that'll never happen. There's plenty of reasons why that'll never happen, but that's probably the easiest fix.
The easiest fix is to just have the transfer portal only happen in June and July.
Yeah, but like schools aren't going to go for that.
I think schools would, because what you get is you get the spring practice with the highly touted recruits, right? You see where things are falling on your team in terms of depth chart, and then as the general manager positions, you start saying, okay, we need to make room here. This isn't looking as strong. We need to, we might need to get a guy here, get a guy there, and then once it opens, you open it after the major recruitment period for the high schoolers, and that happens in middle of June. Open it last week of June when everybody's out of school, everybody's free. There's no camps going on. You do it for 3 weeks. Last week of June, first 2 weeks of July. Get everything done. Make sure all the paperwork's done. Get them enrolled before fall camp, and you're good to go. Because at that point, you've trimmed your own fat through using spring ball, and this also helps with coaching hires. Because if the coaching hire happened, you see what's actually in the cupboard before all of a sudden you don't have any players and you're trying to build something with nothing. Like you go ahead and you keep the players there, see how it goes in the spring, see what needs to be tweaked, so that not everybody's life is getting screwed up at the same time. Just, let it happen little by little.
It's not a bad idea. Why do we need 2 transfer periods?
We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Baseball doesn't have one.
You don't need 2 transfer periods.
Like, well, baseball somewhat does, because you have a winter period for pretty much all sports, except for the winter sports, right? Because like you got guys that enter the transfer portal in December, because especially now that there's roster limits in baseball, you've got guys that, okay, we didn't make the roster, and the fact that they've got to go through all of December, and then they get told, hey, you're not going to be on the roster in the spring. Sorry about it. That's tough. I don't know. It's got to be fixed. It's something has to change. And the tampering, what was it? I saw a guy that was in the portal yesterday. They entered the transfer portal, and then 12 hours later, I think they committed to like Ole Miss. Like, what?
As long as programs got money and boosters, there's always going to be tampering.
And then to see, I don't know if y'all saw this, like some of the demands that some of these athletes are making. I saw one of like the demands that somebody had sent in. It was like $750,000 up front to sign him immediately. 3 family cars to sign immediately. So basically 3 cars for his family. He wanted a personal driver to and from practice all year. And then lastly, he wanted all expenses paid for up to 10 members of his friends and family to travel to every single game, including flights and hotels and I believe food paid for his family. That was his NIL request.
And to think Reggie Bush got his Heisman stripped because USC was feeding his family. That's about it.
Like what? I don't know.
Well, this is why you hire general managers. This is why
I guess yeah. We didn't even talk about that.
Together. This is why you just tell these kids, well, yeah, that's great, but
I'm glad ECU is getting on board with the times. I mean, in this day and age of college football, I mean, the fact that you even need a general manager, it's sad, but look, ECU is honestly probably ahead of the game compared to most G5 programs. I don't know many of them that have a general manager, but ECU's bringing in one, Noah Joseph from Purdue. It's not official, but all the reports out there say that he's going to be the GM at ECU. He was most recently the general manager at Purdue, and he's a former defensive coordinator at Rutgers and Indiana. So, I mean, you got a guy that's been around the Big Ten for a while and in some high-level positions in the Big Ten. You're able to bring him in at the same position that he's at currently to ECU. That's nice. Basically, instead of being over all the directors, like director of player personnel and your director of operations, all that, this is like your guy that is handling all the support staff and making sure that, okay, all of our recruiting stuff is done. He's kind of looking at it more of like, okay, here's our scouting that's being done. We're making sure that we're scouting right. We're going after the right people. We're plugging all the holes that we need to plug. And then also, I'm sure that I don't think they're supposed to, but I'm sure that there's some conversations about, okay, we have this pot of money in NIL. Where, like, who can we offer this to? Right. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts ECU, this hire, but also another hire at ECU. I don't know how we missed this earlier. The ECU has a new defensive coordinator from the SEC. Now, he wasn't a D coordinator in the SEC, but bringing Josh Aldridge, defensive coordinator and linebackers coach he was formerly at Lenoir-Rhyne. Then he became the defensive line coach at Liberty. He was the interim head coach after Hugh Freeze left Liberty at Liberty in their bowl game. I believe that was in 2022. And then he's been promoted to co-defensive coordinator at Liberty before that. But he's been most recently at Auburn as their D-line coach. Or the line, was it the linebacker coach or D-line coach? Linebackers. Coming into ECU. And look, anytime that you've been around football minds like that of Hugh Freeze, it's nice to have a guy like that come in. Right? Like you got your offensive coordinator who's been around Lane Kiffin, and then you bring in a defensive coordinator that's kind of been around the block and done a little bit of everything. So exciting times for ECU. You're rounding out that staff. So yeah, it's exciting. I wonder if there's any chance that he can flip some guys to ECU. I don't know if they're leaving Auburn to come to ECU, but maybe he's got some recruits in his back pocket. He's another Georgia guy, right? So you look at it like that's where the connection is with Blake Harrell. I mean, two kind of Georgia guys that grew up coaching in that area and have spent time in those areas recruiting, and then he's spent a lot of time in SEC country, an area where ECU seems to be wanting to get back into in terms of recruiting. Under Mike Houston, they were recruiting the Mid-Atlantic area, right, pretty heavily. I think they want to go further south and get some of those bigger bodies down south. Thoughts?
No, I absolutely agree. Look, you gotta understand Blake Harrell's still gonna have a big hand in this defense, even though he is the head coach. That's his forte. He's gonna have a huge hand in this defense. Obviously, JDB's gonna have that offense the way he wants to have it. But huge hire, like you said, Georgia guy coming from Auburn, obviously being at a big time program like Auburn. I know they didn't have the season that they wanted to have. They haven't had the last few seasons of Auburn have not been that great. But nonetheless, you still coach in the SEC. You still have to see that kind of talent. You know a little bit of what you're doing, what you're talking about. So excited to see what he can do, but not too worried because he's not going to be by himself. Blake Harrell's still going to be in that room heavily dictating what that defense does.
For sure. Josh, any thoughts on the hires? If not, we can move to Gambling Corner and then start wrapping up.
Nope. Let's go ahead and go to Gambling Corner.
Cool. Let's do it. What we got here?
College football playoff, winners only, or winners and over under. Winners and over under. Artie had a great showing last week. He's now 52-24 overall. I am 50-26, and Jared is 49-27. So, first game, Indiana on the road visiting Notre Dame. An in-state game. The last time Indiana beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame was in 98, I believe. 1898, that is. We're looking at an over under 51.5. I'm taking Notre Dame in a runaway, and I'm taking the over.
Yeah, this game. Well, I mean, the Indiana's used to it because they also play in the same state. It's going to be a very cold game up there in South Bend. Every time Notre Dame gets into a playoff or a situation like this, they are very fraudulent. They always let you down. And I wouldn't be shocked if they did the same. But I don't see it. And I know they lost at home to Northern Illinois this year. That happened this year. But I don't know. I've just seen Indiana go up there and lay an egg at Ohio State, the only quality team they played, and they really just got blown out the water to Ohio State. I don't believe in Kurt Signetti's program to play a perennial power like this, even though I think he's obviously got them on the right track. So, yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame, and I'll take Notre Dame to cover.
No, over or under?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me over 51.5.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily a runaway. It may turn into that. I feel like Indiana, they can score points. That's not the concern. The concern is when they do play a top team like they did when they played Ohio State, kind of like what Artie was saying. I'm in agreement with y'all. I think Notre Dame, and I'm going to take the over on here.
All righty. Next up, we have SMU on the road going north to Penn State. Number 10 at number 4. Over-under is 53.5. I've got Penn State winning a game, winning a big game for once, right? But I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Penn State. Even though, yeah, this is interesting. Neither of these teams have really like played anyone really. I'm taking Penn State to win this game. A game in Happy Valley. I don't know. I just got to take Penn State, and I'm gonna take. I really want to take the over here, but I think I'm gonna also lean to the under. Penn State. I mean, anytime you have Penn State, if Penn State's gonna win this game, it's gonna be the under.
I agree. I'm also going to take the under on this. I just don't see either one of them. Even though Penn State showed me enough against Oregon that they can mess around and get 40 by themselves if they really wanted to. But I do think, I mean, home playoff game, Happy Valley, it's going to be like 15 degrees outside. SMU's not going to be ready for this environment. They're just not. They're not going to be ready for this. So yeah, I've got Penn State and give me the under.
And I'm pretty sure they did announce that this is going to be a whiteout game.
Yeah, SMU's not going to be ready for this kind of atmosphere. They're just not.
They finally have a night game. All right. Next up, the Saturday slate, Clemson, number 16 in the final rankings. That's great. At number 3, Texas. Last time we had Texas on the list, they proved to be fraudulent once again. And Clemson showed that they were the real deal last time. Who do we think is going to pull this one off?
If Texas actually if Texas just shows up and play Texas football, this game's gonna be over in the second quarter. Like this shouldn't be that close of a game if Texas actually shows up and play the way they want to play in Austin. However, they can also let a team just mess around and make it a game with them. So it just depends on which version of Texas you're gonna get. Now, Clemson, their offense depends on big plays. And I don't think Texas' defense is going to allow a lot of big plays. So that's why I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to take the under in this game, but give me Texas. But give me Texas in a game that's a little closer than people think it's going to be.
Yeah. I wonder about both of these teams. I don't think either of them make it. Whoever wins this game, I don't think they make it past the next round. I do agree Texas is fraudulent, but playing a game at home against Clemson, I think I feel like I gotta take Texas here. But I think I'm actually gonna take the over on this game.
So Texas and the over on this one.
Yep.
All right. I've taken Texas twice when I had so much faith in them, and they've let me down both times. So what I'm going to do here is a little reverse psychology. And I'm going to go Clemson to win the game. But honestly, whoever wins this game is winning the next round.
Like
Arizona State. Arizona State, come on, guys.
Okay,
I guess I don't. The way we have it set up here, I don't see the. It's not the 12 versus the.
Yeah, because the winner of Tennessee Ohio State has to play Oregon. The winner of this game plays Arizona State. So yeah, I think the winner of this game will beat Arizona State, unless Cam Scatterboo goes off for like 250. But
I don't know if Clemson's beating Arizona State right now.
Now, okay, Clemson, Arizona State, that is a pretty good game. I will say that is a pretty good game. But
like Texas, yes. I'm still so kind of like next time we need like the seeds 1 through 12 instead of like having the actual like ranking.
Okay, I'll put seeds next time.
Yeah, because like this is throwing like I saw 3 Texas. I was like, that's not like that. That's Boise State. All right. I feel like I wouldn't if I woke up Sunday and Clemson won, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
But that would be a hard pill to swallow in Austin. That, hey, you finally got into the SEC, you're top 5 in the country all year long, just to lose to Clemson at home in the college football playoff. That'd be a tough pill to swallow.
Real tough.
A team that got absolutely dismantled by Georgia earlier in the year.
Twice.
I'm talking about Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
Texas to lose to a team that
both these teams lost to Georgia. So
Yeah.
They don't know.
3 combined losses to one team.
Yeah.
Common opponent goes crazy on this game. All right. Last
Next
game of the weekend. Number 7 ranking. Number 7 Tennessee at number 6 Ohio State.
Game. This is gonna be a game. This is gonna be
Number 8 and 9 seeds.
Look. Here's the thing. Tennessee, I don't know if it's true, but I've been seeing reports online that Tennessee has bought 46% of the tickets.
Yeah, no, I have seen they bought a lot of tickets. Yeah, like
they're talking about putting up a damn checkerboard
now
on the road.
I don't know how true that is because obviously I follow your Ohio State program because I have to. I don't know how they're not taking over the shoe. They're just not. They're not going to take over the shoe.
It's going to be a lot closer than you think.
But I can see 70-30, which is still a lot for the shoe.
It's going to remind me a lot of when Georgia fans took over Notre Dame.
That was a wild scene.
Like all that red in Notre Dame, it's going to be like that. And can Ryan Day win the big game? I don't know.
Mike Vrabel will be there next year.
If he's not in Chicago, God, I hope we can get him up there.
This is I think the most interesting game because I think this is the one where the road team truly has a chance to win. I do. If Tennessee can put it all together on offense, I think I like them to win. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take Tennessee, and I think I'm gonna take the over.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is truly a matchup of whose offense is going to show up. I think both these defenses show up big time, but both of these offenses have looked suspect throughout the season. Tennessee's got an offense that could absolutely be top 3, top 5 in the country. They don't show up sometimes. Ohio State's got an offense that can absolutely be top 5 in the country. They don't show up sometimes. So whose offense is going to show up? Obviously, I'm not picking Ohio State for shit. Fuck them. But this is going to be the game. To me, this is going to be the game of the week. Tennessee, Ohio State. It should be the game of the weekend. I think it is going to be the game of the weekend. I think this is going to be one of those final possession, last 2-minute type of games. But give me Rocky Top in the shoe, and give me the over.
There's no better song. There's no better college football song than Rocky Top. I'll say that.
I'll also go Tennessee. I don't think that Ohio State will be able to run the ball, and I don't think that Tennessee will be able to play defensive coverage in the passing game too well. So, yeah, Tennessee to win and the over because I think Tennessee is gonna throw some bombs.
Guys, we had one pick that was different. Got 3 locks this week.
We're worse than College Game Day.
Yeah.
3 locks.
I don't hate it.
It's all good though. It's all good.
I don't hate it. No, I think this game's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope Tennessee fans take over the shoe.
And honestly, I hope it's chaos. I hope Indiana wins. I hope Clemson wins.
My favorite.
I hope it's chaos.
I saw something that it was like Ohio State fans or Ohio State worried about Tennessee planting a flag, and it was like one of those like big brain things. But then it was like it showed Tennessee fans, and it was like Tennessee fans seeing how close the river is to the goalpost, and I about lost it when I saw that. I was like, please let that happen. Please let Tennessee win. Tennessee fans storm the field, tear down the goalpost, and throw them in the river. That would be the epitome of college football. We need that.
As a Michigan fan, that would make my heart very happy.
And plant the flag. We need more flag planting.
Well, if you live in Ohio, they might make it a law to ban it. So
I
make it illegal.
I remember my senior year, we beat our rivals. I wasn't on the football team, but we beat our rivals, Davie County, North Davidson, Davie County. And the year before, my junior year, they had planted their flag in the ND at our stadium. And their SRO officer and their principal said, if y'all rush the field before like all the players are gone, you'll be arrested. And as soon as the last player walked off the field, I took that flag and I planted it right in the middle of that DC. I'll never. Flag planting is the best thing. We need more flag. I think every game should end with a planted flag. That you want to talk about college football imperialism? That's college football imperialism.
I don't mind flag planting. I just don't think it leads to anything productive.
I think it leads to enough content for us to go. I'm gonna start a second podcast called Plant the Flag, where we look at games every single week where somebody should plant the flag. There we go. More flag planting. I don't care if you're playing intramural basketball.
Absolutely not.
Roll Kai.
Absolutely.
Underwater basket weaving. Plant that flag. Quidditch. Plant that flag. Come on, Artie. You mean to tell me ECU rugby would never plant a flag?
No, we did a lot more disrespectful shit than that. Did plant a flag.
The worst thing we ever did on the track team in high school was we stole the shot put and discus from Mount Tabor. Pretty sure the statute of limitations is out on that. All right. Anything else, guys? Next week we'll look at the bowl game. Got a bowl game to preview next week. Lining up a guest for that show. We'll have our friends at the Red and White podcast join us.
Absolutely. That'll be fun.
From the college hall. Look, I still have people that message me and talk shit about me from the last time I went on NC State podcast like 3 years ago. So I want it. I want all the smoke. All right. Anything else? If not, make sure you follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I think TikTok is at the Boneyard Podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple. Leave us a 5-star review. If you don't already, what can they do?
You can walk the damn plank.
Damn right, walk the damn plank. And then subscribe on YouTube. You can see, you can watch us live there. You can also watch us live on X or Twitter. And then, yeah, subscribe. If you don't, walk the damn plank. Subscribe. It's fun. We like interacting with you when we're live. All right, let's get out of here. We'll talk to you before Christmas. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. And yeah, Artie, say your thing.
Hey, as always, Pirate Nation, enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. Enjoy these first round playoff games. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Deuce.
Peace.
Man, drop just